Jiggy cat on a damn killing spree. This is Nagato, and you can't mimic my energy. 100 rounds drawn and me hanging like a centipede.
Yo, what's up everyone, it's me Nagato and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we will be jumping back into the Vita scene and checking out the highly sought after port of GTA San Andreas developed by TheOfficialFloW as well as Rennie. Personally speaking, I've been dying to make this video guys since its original release back in February. However, as some of you guys know, I've been attending to my academic career, thus I didn't have a lot of time on my hands to produce this video earlier. Nevertheless, let's jump into the prerequisites as well as some disclaimers so everyone is on the same page before we get started on this process on the Vita. So first things first, as I'm recording this video, so as of March 7th 2021, I'll be using the version 1.5 of this GTA port from GitHub from TheOfficialFloW. As well, for today's video we'll be needing PSM, which is also known as PlayStation Mobile Runtime, on our device in order for GTA San Andreas to work without any issues and bugs. With that being getting out the way for today's disclaimers, I will be stating all of the prerequisites what you'll need. Anything will be in the pinned comment and the link in the description down below, so any files, any useful guides and supplemental readings will all be down for you guys to read. But first things first, of course, you need a modded device, so either you have a modded PlayStation Vita or PSTV that has some type of exploit. So whether if you're using Trinity, Henkaku, H-on-Core, H-on-Core 2, in my example, I'll be using my Japanese Vita that is flashed on Henkaku Enzo 3.60 firmware, and this does work from firmwares between 3.60 to 3.73. Additionally, what you'll need for today is the latest version of VitaShell, which is 2.2 as I'm recording this video. You also need a Wi-Fi connection since you're going to be downloading files from our PC to our Vita. Additionally, you can either use FileZilla FTP client or WinSCP if you want to FTP your files over to your device. But in this case, I'll be using a USB charging cable method, which is my recommended method for today's video, since we're going to be transferring over 2 gigabytes of files or 2.0 gigabytes of files to our device. So that's why I recommend using the USB cable method. Additionally, you'll need WinRar or 7-zip since we're going to be unpacking files to our PC. And last but not least, we're going to be needing the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas PS Vita version 1.0 setup file that I made, and this is a pre-configured build of GTA San Andreas for the PS Vita, meaning all you have to do is basically just drag and drop the contents to the UX0 directory. So I basically did all of the work for you. You all have to do is just drag and drop, so it's pretty simple, because I know with this current build it took a lot of hoops to basically get the end result, i.e. playing the game itself. But regardless, there are some other prerequisites that I will state, which is contained in the Grand Theft Auto file itself. So within the .rar, there is a PSM Runtime PKG files. This is going to allow us to install PlayStation Mobile Runtime onto our device. Also going to be seeing AutoPlugin 2 version 1.22. It's important that you have this version since it has the FdFix plugin and kubridge. Additionally, it's not recommended, or it is highly recommended. You'll need a PSVShell overclocking plugin, since when you overclock your PS Vita, you could get better performance, not just with this game in particular, but you can with other games as well, so you won't run into dropping frames and stuff while you're playing the game. Additionally, you'll need GTA San Andreas version 1.05 VPK. You'll also need PKG installer launcher.vpk, which is a VPK that allows us to install PKG files, and that is for PlayStation Mobile Runtime. And last but not least, you'll need sharkfood.vpk. I know that was a mouthful, but we're going to go ahead and get back onto the PC as well as the Vita to get everything set up, so I'll meet you guys for that. Alrighty, assuming that you guys did follow all the prerequisites as I stated in the intro, we're ready to go and get started on the Vita side of things. So as of right now, I'm assuming that your device is modded in some shape or form. As you can see here, if I go into my settings really quickly, and then let me scroll down to my system settings right here, go into system information, you can see that I am on 3.60 Enzo firmware. And what I'm going to do right now is hit home and back out from my system so we can get back on LiveArea. And now what I want you guys to do, assuming that you already have VitaShell installed onto your device, what we're going to do is open up VitaShell to get ready for our file transfer process. So right now, make sure additionally as well before starting this that you at least have 3 gigabytes of free space on your Vita, since I think the whole package file itself and with the whole files getting transferred over is around like 2 to 3 gigabytes. So just make sure you have enough free space. But what we're going to do as of right now is hit start on our device. Make sure depending on if you want to transfer over with Wi-Fi, that if your Wi-Fi is on, make sure your select button is selected at FTP. In my case, I'm going to be recommending you guys to follow along with the USB method, so make sure you have your charging cable, because that's how I'm going to be transferring my files from my PC to the Vita itself. So right now, since I'm on USB, I'm going to go ahead and hit circle on my device, and now I'm going to hit select. And as you guys heard that here, it didn't show up on a screen since I'm using a plugin to live stream this to you right now, but it's broadcasted on my PC, my actual UX0 memory card in File Explorer. So what we're going to do now is go to the PC, get everything downloaded, and get our files transferred. So I'll meet you guys for that. Alrighty, so as of right now, we're back onto the PC. Your Vita should be connected to your PC within VitaShell if you're going to be using the USB method. If you guys already know how to use FileZilla FTP client, then you could just follow along to transfer the files to UX0. But you can see here, this is my Vita connected to my PC. But what I'm going to do now is just minimize this out of File Explorer. And now I'm going to show you guys on how to download this Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Vita setup file that I made. And I'm going to show you everything you'll need to know for this process. So first things first, just go ahead and open up any web browser of your choice. In this case, I'll be using Google Chrome, but if you want to use Firefox or Edge, it's fine as well. This link will be in the link in the description down below, and all you would have to do once you get to this link is hit download, and it's a 1.7 gigabyte zip file, or a RAR file in this case. All you got to do is just download it onto your device and then transfer it to your desktop to extract it out, or wherever you want to extract it out with. But once you download this file, what we're going to do, I'm going to showcase right here, is TheOfficialFlow's GTA San Andreas GitHub. So as I'm recording this, I am using version 1.5, and you can see that there are, some change logs and fixes that he made in this version as I'm recording this right now on March 8th. So in this version of GTA San Andreas, he added, methods for cheats. He also added the ability to use cut radio songs from GTA San Andreas, which is pretty cool. And if you guys want to see the other change logs and basically this whole GitHub page, which goes in depth on what actually this homebrew is, I will leave this in the link in the description and down below. Additionally, if you want to read more about this release, I will leave the Wolonet article here, which I think is pretty good to read. But I'm just trying to get to the setup for this video, so I won't spend too much time on this now. But once you guys got GTA San Andreas, the setup file that I made for you guys, all you got to do is just right click and extract with. Make sure you have WinRar or 7-zip before doing this, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. But once it's fully extracted, we're going to be dragging and dropping this file to our UX0 folder onto our device. So right now it says it only has 2 seconds left or 3 seconds left. If it takes a little bit more, I'll probably just cut out the video here and then we can get started. Oh, actually it's done, so never mind. But once it's fully extracted out from your device, what we're going to do is open up this folder here. Just go inside this folder. I already labeled the folder as UX0 just to remind people if this is going onto your memory card. So if you're transferring this with FileZilla FTP client, that's how you guys could remember. But everything is set up from you. So I'm just going to go peruse through certain folders right here. So here's the data folder, GTA San Andreas. This is the full game itself. You don't have to change any files. This is version 1.5 already on here. Additionally, if I go into package files, this is PSM Runtime. These are all of the needed files that we need to get PlayStation Mobile set up onto your device. If you already have PlayStation Mobile set up to your device, then you could definitely skip this step once we get to that process. And then if I go into VPKs, here are all of the necessary VPKs that I stated that I inputted into this RAR package file for today's video. So AutoPlugin version 1.22, since we're going to be needing 2 plugins for this process, or I mean 3 actually. actually, GTA San Andreas.vpk. Here is the original version, and here is 1.05. You also need package installer, which is for PSM, and then shark food, which is a thing we need for a compiling of textures, I believe, but this is also needed for this process. So what we're going to do right now is go into the UX0 folder, and we're going to open back up File Explorer, and we're just going to basically drag and drop this to our PlayStation Vita. So that's how simple it is. You don't have to, go through the hoops of unpacking any of the files and stuff like that. So once this is fully done transferring over, it will take a little while. We're going to go back into the PlayStation Vita itself, get all the VPK set up, get our plugins set up, and then we're going to run the game for you guys today. So I'll meet you guys once this is fully done. Alright, so as of 5 minutes, everything has successfully transferred over to my device. What I want to do before we even get onto the Vita side of things, let's just verify that the content has successfully transferred over to the correct directories onto our memory card. So let's check the data folder right here. You should have the GTA San Andreas file right here. So if we just double check properties, it should be 2.43 gigabytes on here, and if we check right here, it's the same thing. So we're good to go to know that our game has successfully transferred over. Now in UX0, let's go into the package folder right here. So package, and you can see that we have our PSM Runtime game. So both are 23.3 megabytes. If we scroll down to VPK, so let me come down to here, we should have our 5 VPKs here, and we got our 5 VPKs here. So we're good to go, and we're ready to get started on VitaShell to get all of our VPKs installed and plugins, so we'd be ready to play some Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So let's go to the Vita. Alright, so we're back onto the Vita as of right now. All of our files should be into UX0, so let's go and check UX0 really quickly. So let me hit X. Let me scroll all the way down to our data folder right here, and we're just going to recheck just to make sure that all of our files are in the correct location. So we got GTA San Andreas. All of our files are showcased into the correct directory. Next, let's go check the package folder on UX0. So right now we should have 3 PKGs, and this is PSM Runtime. So that is what we need to do in a second. And then additionally, we're going to check our VPKs folder labeled here, and we're going to install our VPK. So first VPK we're going to install is AutoPlugin version 1.22. Once again, please use this version and not a older version, since there are like some plugins that are not in like the older versions, of course. So that's why I'm recommending to use the latest version. But once this installs, we're going to also install PKG installer and shark food in a second, and then we're going to leave off GTA San Andreas.vpk. So just waiting for it to do its thing. But this is just like the easy part of this section, just installing the applications of homebrews, and once all of these homebrews are done, they will be in LiveArea. So I'm just waiting for it to do its thing. And then what I also plan on showcasing to you guys later on in the video is just some configuration settings, and how if you want to change your configuration, you could do that as well before preempting the actual install onto your device. So it's at 99% right now, not too sure. Okay, so AutoPlugin 2 is done. Next one we're going to do is PKG installer. Hopefully, since it's only like 2.45 megabytes, it should install pretty quickly. And then last but not least, we're going to be using sharkfood.vpk. Okay, so installing that last VPK right here, and all 3 VPKs should pop up onto the LiveArea. Alright, so now we're done. Now if we scroll all the way down to LiveArea, you should see your 3 new applications. So we have AutoPlugin here, Package Installer, and Shark Food. First one we're going to go to is AutoPlugin 2, and we're going to install all of the necessary plugins for this process. So let me go into Vita plugins, install plugins. And the first plugin we're going to be doing is FdFix. This is required for this process. So by doing that, all you got to do is hit X. You can see here that I already had mine installed, because on the right side of the screen it had like a green button. Next one we're going to install, it starts with a K and I can't pronounce it. Let me try to find it. I think I just passed it. Yeah, kubridge. We're going to also need this, so you can see needed for ported Max Payne game. It's also for GTA San Andreas, I believe, and like Vice City, so you definitely need that. And then the last one what we need is PSVShell. This is a overclocking plugin, and I highly recommend having this since you could get better performance. Once you have these three plugins installed, what you want to do is go ahead and hit start on your device. It will restart your Vita, and then what we're going to do is go and continue uninstalling the PlayStation Mobile titles. So I'll meet you guys back for that once my Vita has successfully restarted. Alright, so as of right now, my PlayStation Vita has restarted. What we're going to do right now is go into, let me scroll down to my applications. And the second application what we're going to be messing with is package installer. So let's go and launch that. This is when we're going to install all of the PlayStation Mobile Runtime stuff. So what we need to do is choose the second option where it says install from UX0 package. If you guys remember, we had all our PSM PKG files here. Once we hit X, it will take a little second to load. So just waiting for it to do its thing. And we're going to go into UX0 package again, and now we need to install these three packages. Note we need to store or basically install each package in chronological order. So the first package you want to install is the one I have highlighted right now, which says IP9100, and it basically ends in PSM Runtime 000. This is the first one what we want to do. The second one, or what we want to install, is the one that says A0200, the one I have highlighted here. And then the third one where it says A0201, this is the last version of PlayStation Mobile Runtime. So what we're going to do is hit X, install the first one. And if you guys are used to installing package files on the PS4 or PS3, it's basically the same thing. So right now I'm just waiting for it to install the initial package. You should get a message that said it's succeeded. So let's go ahead and install the second one. Mind you, the one that says A0200. This is the 2.00 version of PSM Runtime. So just waiting for it to do its thing. And then once that is fully done, once it promotes, it will get another success message. And then we're going to install the last version. So let me hit OK. And then 201, this PKG here, is the version we're going to be utilizing last, 2.01. And this is what we need for today's process. So that is done. And now hit OK. All we got to do is hit back onto the home button of our device, scroll all the way down to settings right here. Let me go into settings once again, and we're going to go into system settings, go into PlayStation Mobile, and right now your PSM Runtime package should be version 2.01. If it's not, please recite those steps. And if you already had PSM Mobile installed, you could have like just skipped that part. But what I'm going to do now, since we got PlayStation Mobile successfully onto our device, what we're going to do is launch our third application called Shark Food, and this is going to trigger a plugin that is going to be found in the URL0 data. So it's going to compile. So right now it's doing its thing. I honestly don't know what this actually means itself, but once Shark Food has executed as it did, what we're going to do is go back into VitaShell once more, and we're going to go into the URL0 data partition. So let's go back out and hit circle, URL0 data, and we're going to get the libshacccg.suprx. This is very important for this to run because I think this plugin compiles shaders, if I recall correctly. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below, but this is used for like the Dreamcast plugins and other stuff like that. But it's very important to find this in the URL0 data folder. So once you have that, what we're going to do is go back into UX0, scroll all the way down to VPKs. So let me find that really quick. And we're going to go into the GTA San Andreas version 1.05.vbk. So this is the latest version right now, and it's installing. So once we go back into our LiveArea, we should be able to play some Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So right now I'm going to actually turn up my volume on my device so we could hear a little bit of San Andreas. I am using my Vita and I don't have the analog out plug, but right now, let's scroll all the way down. So here's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on a LiveArea. So there is one thing I want to go ahead and state now. So once you launch into the application itself, it will take a little second for it to load. Just waiting for it to do its thing. And voila, here is San Andreas running on the PlayStation Vita. One thing I do want to state, if you go into the options folder, there are a bunch of options you can do. So if you want to go to define controls, you can, change stuff like inverted look, joypad sensitivity, and stuff like that. Let me go back real quick. Game settings, so if you want the traffic mode heavy, classic, light, you could switch all of that. Target mode is to lock on, and there's just a bunch of settings right here. Right now I'm not really going to be messing with any settings myself, but if you guys have any recommendation like of configurations, please let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, here are some settings like for audio as well. Well, let me actually turn off the audio because I ain't trying to get copyright claim. But if you want to switch the language to the game, you can. Since I speak English, I'm not going to do that. But that's an option for itself. So that's how you initially could set up some of your options. Additionally, if you go into the configuration, or let me close out of San Andreas, and if you want to go into the configuration and change some more settings before I actually showcase the game, you can within the section. So if you want to have different shadings and graphics, you can, and each one they have optimizations for audio and stuff like that. I'm really not too keen on like messing with any of these configurations myself, since this is like my first time playing San Andreas on the Vita. But what I'm going to do here is, if you want to go ahead and save your options, you could like save and exit and launch the game. But in this case, I'm going to just show you that San Andreas works. So let me go to GTA San Andreas. And I noticed from the GTA 3 port, this actually loads much faster. So let me go and start the game. And if I be quiet for a second, you could hear the original infamous San Andreas soundtrack. It's just pretty crazy to know that like the Vita itself, San Andreas is being like on this device. And this would have been a great opportunity for Rockstar to actually utilize this port. Like this would have sold Vitas off the shelf. But thanks to homebrew developers like TheOfficialFloW and Rennie and just the Vita scene in general, you could see these cool games being played. So right now my game is doing its thing, loading. And if you guys are more interested in ports like this, I did create a video for GTA 3. So if you love Grand Theft Auto, the classic GTAs from like the PS2 and Xbox era, you could go ahead and check out that video. But here's San Andreas running right now. Let me just minimize that. But yeah, you can see here, this is Carl Johnson booting, or the actual intro of San Andreas, just so I won't get any copyright flags. I'm not too keen if they had any music, but you can see here, this is San Andreas running just fine. Additionally, one thing I do want to show, if I back out and hold select and up on my Vita, you can see that I'm overclocked to 500 megahertz with PSVShell. So normally your CPU may look like this. If you want to go ahead and change your CPU settings and megahertz, all you gotta do is hit X over whatever option you're selecting. So in my case, I'm overclocking to 500 megahertz. Notice when you do overclock your system, your device may run out of battery faster. If you're utilizing like a PlayStation TV, this won't really matter for you if you're overclocking. But you can see here, this is San Andreas running just fine. Sometimes there is like little minor slowdowns, but if I actually prompt up PSVShell on the screen really quickly, we could see that I'm getting a solid 29-30 FPS frames per second. But yeah, this is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the Vita itself. I noticed I should have got it, got this video out way earlier to you guys, but luckily, I had some time today to check this out. But with that being said, my name is Nagato's Revenge, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Hey everyone, it's me, Nagato's Revenge here. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. With that being out the way as well, I highly do recommend that y'all guys go ahead and follow my social media so you'll never miss any of the latest hacking guides and tutorials on my channel by subscribing to me and hitting that notification button as well. It's another method on how you will know when I drop my latest content, whether it be for the Vita, PS4, PS3, and such and so forth. As well, if you want to be in the mix of things and you want to join my official community, you can join via the link right now showcased on the screen and join my Discord that way. And if you do want to support my channel in any shape or form, you could become a patron. I will have a card right now. But with all of that getting out the way, hope you guys really did enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Of course, I love the llamas. Nice and silky smooth.